If you guys love playing e4, then e6 can be pain in your you know what. But in this video guys, I'm going to show you 5 tricks how to counter the French defense. I mean, e6 is the French defense and it is pain in you know what. So I will tell you how to deal with this e6 maneuver in 5 ways. So I'm going to show you 5 tricks to crush the French defense. So guys, this is me Shivam Kumar, your host, and you are watching Mr. Sidal Chess. Okay, so let's go with this. Now, after e4, your opponent responds with the e6, the French defense, and the real reason behind e6 is to control the d5 square and also to control the f7 square and also to increase the protection of the king after he went for a castle and also to curb down all of your hopes to attack the weak f7 square. Now, what have I said? Right, if you are wondering that what I was saying, let me show you. Now let's assume that instead of e6, black plays e5. Then you have knight f3, that's fine. Black will go with knight c6 and you could unleash bishop c4, one of the very aggressive opening, right? It's the Italian system aiming directly on what? f7 square. Now if we leave the Italian system at this position, we have d4, the Scotch game, then pawn takes pawn. We have knight g5, Scotch gambit. We have h6, then just take this pawn. King takes. Yes, you heard it right. We have queen and also bishop checks and making this king more vulnerable. So you can see white's primary target is f7 and f7 is itself a very weakest square because f7 is not defended by any pieces. You can see no one is defending this f7 instead of this king. And you know, any tactical sacrifice on the f7 square or any coordinated attack on the f7 square can cause a fatal injuries to black's king. So that's why guys, just to defend this f7 square, many players choose e6, which becomes pain in you know what for the white players. So now after e6, your opponent aims to go with a d5 and then creating a long pawn chain that will defend this f7 square. Let's say you go with something like knight f3, they have d5 and now you can't go with bishop c4, you know. I mean, this is not an option because pawn take the bishop. That's a blunder, of course. That's why you can't use Italian system or Scotch gambit against the e6. Therefore, yes, I'm going to show you how to counter this system. Now, after e6, simply go with d4 maneuver to control squares in the center. And this is actually basic principle in chess, guys. If you ever gets confused guys like how you should play or how you should respond, just remember, stick to the principles and follow the principles. So one of the principle is control the center, so we are going to do that. Now your opponent will respond with d5, the French defense, and now you have 4 options to play. Knight c3 is one of the options, e5, the advanced French variation, is one of the options, pawn takes pawn, the exchange variation, is one of the options, and bishop d3 is another one of the options. So we are going to discuss 4 examples. So we have 4 options to play. Let's proceed with the first option. It's actually pawn takes pawn, the exchange variation. So pawn takes pawn again. We have open e file and that's fine. Then we go with c4 hitting on this pawn again. If pawn takes pawn, we have bishop with this pawn. We will get semi-open d file that will help us in the middle game phases. Therefore, we have knight f6 defending this pawn. We go with knight c3 hitting on this pawn again. That's fine. Now we have bishop b4 pinning this knight to the king. Oh, arrow went down. So we have bishop b4 pinning this knight to the king. Now the attack on the d5 is temporarily vanished, but don't worry. We have knight f3. A very great maneuver. Now we have castle and here we are going with bishop d3, a development and controlling h7 square. Then we have rook e8, going for a check. We go with bishop e3, defending this check. Now the bishop is kind of a pin, so that's why guys, many players are gonna take advantage of this pin. Like knight g4 hitting on the bishop, pawn takes and then rook take this pawn. They think they are going to win a pawn here, but that's not the case. However, people are going to do this move only. 39% player are gonna play knight g4, aiming to take this bishop, pawn takes and then rook take this king. King will simply move away. That means king has loose casting rights. This rook is kind of a blocked and this king will stuck there, right? So now this player is actually fine guys and that's why we have to go for a castle here. Now as expected, knight take this bishop, we have pawn take bishop. There, if black takes pawn, then it becomes first trap. If black takes rook take this pawn, it will become the second trap. Okay, so let's proceed with the first trap, pawn takes pawn. The moment we have pawn takes pawn, then we have bishop takes this pawn and then controlling this h7 square. The moment knight moves away, like wherever you want to play, let's say knight e5, then this pawn is hanging and then this rook is hanging. Both that's defended by the rook. That's fine. Rook take this pawn. That's great. We have bishop sacrifice. King takes. We have knight e5 check on this king, and that's a discover check. That's great. Now, guys, if king g8, yes, we have queen b3. Again a check. King moves away. And can you guess the best move? It's knight f7, a fork on this queen and this king. That's fine. King moves away. Okay, there is no need for king. Okay, the king has to move away. Just grab this queen. That's fine. You can simply win this game in no time. Now, let's say, guys, if king goes to e8, then what you have to do? You have to go with this queen s5 check on this king. If pawn blocks it, then grab this pawn. If rook take this knight, that's just a checkmate there, right? So that's fine. At this position, guys, if queen comes to f6, then we have queen g8 check, queen f8, and guess what? This rook can simply take this queen. Or there is another option like bishop e6, controlling this square, controlling this square. But that's not enough because we have this check, king moves away, and we have again a check, king moves away. Guess what? Queen takes queen. We are still going to win this game. It's a check again, so that's fine with you, right? You can still win this game. So guys, you have seen the first trap. Now it's time for the second trap. So the moment rook take this pawn, then what do we have? It's actually knight take this pawn. Yes, since this knight is unpinned, so we could take this pawn, hitting on the bishop and hitting on this rook. That's fine. And this is a fork. So he is going to lose any one of his pieces. Now the moment rook moves away, just grab this bishop. You have 3-point lead. Now the best thing black can do is to take this bishop, queen takes, and then bishop d6 and exchange sacrifice. So in this position, black is behind by 2 pieces. However, so guys, we are back on the starting position. We will discuss pawn takes pawn, the exchange variation. Let's see what will happen if we go knight c3, another tricky line, hitting on the pawn d5. However, that's a defended, but after we take, they will take. We will have extra attack on the d5 square. That's fine. Now we have knight f6, defending this pawn once again. Then we go with e5, hitting on the knight. Knight moves away. We have knight f3, development, defending these 2 squares crucially. Then we have c5, hitting on this pawn. We go with bishop g5, hitting on the queen. Let's say bishop defend. Just grab this bishop, queen take this bishop. And at this point of time, when queen has moved from his original d8 square, you have to play knight b5, a very tricky move, a very great move, aiming to go c7 fork, and that's pretty amazing. Your opponent could do castle because that's the most played move. I don't know why, but 37% people are gonna play castle. So they went for castle. We have knight to this c7, attack on the rook. Let's say knight to this a7. We just grab this rook. That's fine. That's great. Now, at this point of time, instead of castle, most of the players usually do knight a6. Then you go with knight d6, hitting on the king. So king, let's say king moves to f8, and then simply just grab this knight. Pawn takes, and we have c3. Just going for this long pawn chain. Guess what? Guess the situation, guys. We are actually very great here. Now, guess what? Black has 2 doubled pawns, and that's not good for him. Moreover, this is the exposed queen side, so we could make our these pawns a very good passer and can promote these pawns into a queen. That's great. And guess what? We have central knight presence that is controlling a lot more square, which is actually very problematic for the black. Moreover, black's king has lost his castling rights and this rook is stuck. So that's the thing. That is a position advantage. You are absolutely fine here. Just play logically. You're going to win this game. If I will turn on the engine, guys, you can see we have plus 2.3 rating. Even guys, we are back on the initial position. We will discuss knight c3 and pawn takes pawn. Let's say what will happen if we'll go e5, the advanced variation. Advanced French variation. It's actually very amazing. Now we have c5, one of the very common move in the French variation to hit this pawn. So to crumble the central structure. We go with c3, defending this pawn. Then we have knight c6. Putting more pressure in these 2 crucial squares. You have 2 options. You can go with bishop b5 and also can go with knight f3. However, bishop b5 is most played move, but that's not a good option. Let me show you why. After bishop b5, your opponent will simply play bishop d7, unpinning this knight. That's fine. If you go with knight f3, defending these 2 squares, that's a blunder because, yes, knight take this pawn. If you take this knight with a pawn, and guess what? Bishop to bishop. So black has ended up with a great structure here. Black has 3 pawns in the center. Meanwhile, you have 1 disconnected pawn. And moreover, black has 1 point lead also. So that's not good option, right? If you take this knight with a knight, guess what? Bishop take this bishop is again an option. If you take this knight with the knight, guess what? Bishop takes bishop is still an option for the black, and he's still ahead by full 1 point. Pawn takes pawn not an option because bishop takes this pawn. Two golden pair bishops. You can't go for a castle. Congratulations, you have just lost a winning advantage here. And the last thing, guys, bishop takes bishop met with knight takes this bishop. Guess what? Black still end up with 1 point lead. Pawn takes pawn not an option because you have bishop takes pawn controlling this important f2 square. You could go for a castle, but you have lost your lead in development. You have lost your one pawn, and also you have lost the center because you don't have any central pawns. So you can see this is not gonna work, and that's why I will recommend something different. I don't recommend bishop b5, but I will recommend knight f3. Very great move in this position. And now, guys, as per database, queen b6 is one of the most played moves to control this long diagonal. We go with bishop d3, normal development move. We don't care about this pawn, I guess. So that's fine. Pawn takes pawn, we have pawn takes pawn, knight takes this pawn, knight takes knight, and finally queen takes knight. Now black thinks here that he has won a pawn, but at the cost of his queen. Yes, because the next move is bishop b5, going for the check. Bishop blocks, takes, queen, king takes. We have queen takes queen. And guess what? Yes, queen is just lost. You got 8-point lead right at the 11th move, and you can simply win this game in no time. So guys, this was the fourth trap. So guys, we are back on the initial position. We discussed pawn takes pawn, we discussed knight c3, and we discussed e5. It's time for us to discuss our last move, bishop d3, defending this pawn. Let's say pawn takes pawn, we have bishop takes pawn. Choose two central pieces like one bishop and one pawn is actually enough for us to control the center, and that's fine. Therefore, people doesn't really do pawn takes pawn. What they do, they go with knight c6, hitting on this pawn twice. So that's why we have e5 hitting on this knight. Let's say knight moves away. We have knight f3 development and also defending these two crucial squares. c5 and we go with knight g5. That's actually very pretty amazing move because we are hitting on this h7 square twice. Queen can't take it because bishop is defending this knight. That's fine. Now we have h6 hitting on this knight. We go with knight takes this pawn. We have simply changed the target and now we are hitting on the e6 pawn. Now, yes, pawn can take this knight, but that's what we want. So pawn take this knight and this position. In this position only, you can use queen h5 and also hit this f7 square. Okay guys, we're back on the initial position. We will discuss pawn takes pawn, the exchange variation, e5 advance and knight c3, one of the very tricky line. Now it's time for our last leg, and that's bishop d3, one of the very great move. If pawn takes pawn, we have bishop to this pawn, a central pawn, central bishop. That's fine. You can play logically. That's great. But people are not gonna play this move. Instead, they are going to play knight f6, a development, defending here and attacking here. Now, what you have to do, simply go with e5, hitting on this knight. Knight moves away. We have knight f3. Yes, that's fine. Knight f3. That's our move. Controlling these two crucial squares. Then you have c5, hitting on this pawn. And this will lead to weakening of the black's king side structure, and that's fine. Now, most of the players are gonna play h6, but guys, there is a problem. The moment they play h6, they are actually weakening the g6 square. And that's why, guys, most of the players are gonna play h6. However, h6 is just a very great mistake. Because king is still in the center, king hasn't castled, h6 is not a good move because when the king is in center, you should make sure your pawn should remain at h7 and f7 to control g6 strongly. Like in the previous position, f7 was defending g6 and h7 was defending g6. So the protection was actually very good. But now after h6, there is only one protection at the g6. And guess what, guys? We are going to take advantage of this weakness only. Now, how can we take advantage? By sacrificing our knight at f7? No, that's not a good option. We have to sacrifice the knight at e6. Pawn take this knight and then we have queen h5 check on the king. King has no other way to move up. That's the very great move here. So king moves up, then we have queen h4 check again. That's fine. If guys, king goes back to e8, thinking like we are going for this check again, but we are not because we have bishop g6 checkmate. And that's actually very amazing, guys, right? So let's say if your opponent plays something like g5, then what do we have? Bishop takes this pawn. In pawn takes, we have queen take this pawn with a check. Let's say, guys, knight defend, and then we have queen take this knight again with a check. King moves away, and we have queen take this rook. Guess what? We have 5-point lead, and king is in center. The whole king side has got weakened. Yes, you are going to win this game simply. Just play logically. Don't blunder any, folks. don't blunder your queen, and you can win this game in no time. So guys, these were the 5 tricks to crush French defense, and you can see all the 5 tricks are either going to give you very great position advantage, very great piece advantage, or so guys, thank you for watching. This is me Shubham Kumar, your host, and you are watching Mr. Cesar Chess. If you have liked this video, then do like, share, comment, subscribe the channel for more videos like this. These were the 5 ways through which you can counter the French defense. You can crush French defense in no time. And thank you for watching, guys. This is me Shubham Kumar, your host, and you're watching Mr. Cesar Chess. Thank you for watching. I will meet you in the next video. So till then, take care.